Welcome to Calm Mind English. Some days do not end when the clock says they are over. The room becomes quiet, the lights are low, but inside your mind, the day is still moving. A small mistake returns. A delayed message returns. A moment you could not control keeps asking for one more review. Tonight, we are talking about how to release the day you could not control. Maybe today did not break you. Maybe nothing dramatic happened. But something stayed with you. A plan changed. A person reacted in a way you did not expect. You tried to manage your time, your words, your emotions, your responsibilities, and still, some part of the day slipped away from your hands. That can leave a quiet kind of heaviness. You may lie down and feel tired, but not peaceful. Your body wants rest, but your mind wants answers. It wants to know why something happened. It wants to know what you should have said. It wants to know how tomorrow will be affected by what happened today. This is one reason sleep can feel far away after an ordinary difficult day. The problem is not only tiredness. The mind is trying to finish what life left unfinished. It replays the conversation. It adjusts your words in memory. It imagines another version of the afternoon, another answer, another reaction, another result. It tries to create control after the moment has already passed. But the mind cannot repair every moment by thinking about it at night. Night thinking often feels productive because it gives the feeling of doing something. It gives the feeling of staying alert, staying responsible, staying prepared. But many times, it is not real preparation. It is the mind touching the same bruise again and again, hoping that the next touch will make it disappear. There is a difference between reflection and carrying. Reflection has space. It looks at what happened, learns something simple, and then allows the body to return to the present. Carrying has no ending. It keeps the day alive inside the nervous system. It asks the same question with slightly different words. It pulls the past into the bed and makes the pillow feel like another desk, another meeting room, another place where you must keep working. Tonight, you do not have to solve the whole day. You can admit that it was hard without making it your job to fix every detail before sleep. You can be honest about what hurt without turning the night into a courtroom. You can notice what you wish had gone differently and still let the body understand that the moment is no longer happening. This is not about giving up responsibility. It is about placing responsibility in the right time. Some things belong to tomorrow morning. Some things belong to a conversation that has not happened yet. Some things belong to another person's choices. Some things belong to timing, weather, traffic, mood, fatigue, and all the small forces that shape a day without asking for permission. When you try to hold all of it, the mind becomes crowded. It is easy to believe that control means safety. If you can predict enough, plan enough, explain enough, maybe you can prevent pain. Maybe you can prevent disappointment. Maybe you can prevent that uncomfortable feeling of not knowing what comes next. But life does not always become safer because you think harder. Sometimes safety begins when the mind learns that it can stop even before everything is clear. Imagine the day like a room after many people have left. Chairs are not perfectly straight. A cup is still on the table. A window is open. There are signs that something happened there. But you do not have to clean the whole room tonight. You can turn off one light. You can close one door. You can say, "This room can wait." Your mind may not believe this immediately. It may return to the same thought. That is not failure. That is a habit trying to continue. When the thought comes back, you do not need to fight it. Fighting can become another form of holding on. You can simply notice it and lower the pressure around it. There is the thought again. There is the memory again. There is the wish that I could have controlled more. And then, slowly, you bring yourself back to the fact that you are here now. Not inside that meeting. Not inside that message. Not inside that moment at the end of the day when your patience became thin. You are here, in this room, with a body that has been carrying enough. Your body does not need a perfect explanation to begin resting. It needs permission. Permission to stop rehearsing. Permission to stop defending. Permission to stop preparing for a danger that is not in the room right now. Permission to let the day become a memory instead of a living demand. If one part of you still feels tense, let it be tense for a while. Do not force peace. Forced peace becomes another task. Real rest often starts very quietly. It starts when you stop arguing with the fact that today was imperfect. Today was imperfect. Some parts were heavy. Some parts were not fair. Some parts were confusing. Some parts are still unfinished. And still, the day is ending. The world does not require you to carry it through the night. Tomorrow will have its own light, its own choices, its own pace. Tonight has a different purpose. Tonight is not for fixing the past. Tonight is for letting the mind loosen its grip, one small thought at a time. The day may not leave all at once. It may leave in pieces. A thought becomes less sharp. A worry becomes less loud. A memory moves farther away. The body notices the mattress. The room becomes more real than the replay. The night becomes less like a problem and more like a place to return to. This is enough for now. You do not need to push the day away with force. You can let it move away slowly, like sound fading down a hallway. You are not responsible for keeping every moment alive. You are allowed to let the day pass, even if you did not control it. When the mind keeps reviewing the day, it often begins with one small detail. It may be the look on someone's face, a sentence you said too quickly, a task you did not finish, or a moment when your energy disappeared before your responsibilities did. At first, it seems harmless. You are only thinking. You are only checking. You are only trying to understand. But then one thought becomes another thought. The mind opens one door, then another. It moves from what happened to what it means. It moves from what someone said to what they might think of you. It moves from one unfinished thing to the fear that you are falling behind in life. This is how a normal evening becomes mentally loud. The room may be still, but inside, the mind is sorting papers that never end. It tries to organize the day into neat reasons. It wants every reaction to make sense. It wants every mistake to become useful. It wants every uncertain moment to have a clear place. There is a natural reason for this. The mind does not like loose ends. Loose ends feel unsafe because they suggest that something is still open, still moving, still able to affect you. A message without a reply, a task without completion, a conversation without closure, a plan without certainty. At night, these open loops can become louder because the outside world becomes quieter. During the day, there are sounds, duties, people, movement. Your attention is pulled in many directions. But when the lights are off and there is nothing left to do, the mind finally has space. It begins to bring unfinished material to the surface. This does not mean the thoughts are important enough to follow all night. It only means your mind found a quiet room and started speaking. One common mistake is believing that every thought deserves full attention. A thought appears, and you follow it because it feels urgent. Another thought appears, and you follow that one too. Soon, you are not resting. You are inside a private meeting with every concern from the day. Some thoughts are not asking to be solved. They are asking to be noticed and released. There is a difference. A thought that needs solving usually has a clear next step. Send the email tomorrow. Apologize if needed. Check the document in the morning. Make a list. Ask a question. Adjust a plan. But a thought that only repeats often has no new step. It circles around the same feeling. It wants certainty from something that cannot give certainty. It wants a guarantee from the past. The past cannot give a guarantee. It can only give information. So when the mind reviews the day, it can help to listen for one simple question. Is there a real action here? Or is this only a replay? If there is a real action, you can place it gently in tomorrow. Not tonight. Tomorrow. The body does not need to stay awake to prove that you care. You can care and still rest. If it is only a replay, you can name it softly. This is a replay. This is the mind trying to finish an unfinished feeling. This is not something I need to solve right now. Naming the pattern does not make the feeling disappear immediately, but it creates a little distance. And distance matters. Without distance, every thought feels like a command. With distance, a thought becomes something passing through awareness. You may notice that the replay often changes shape. First, it may sound like regret. Then it becomes planning. Then it becomes self-criticism. Then it becomes fear about tomorrow. This can happen quickly, so quickly that you do not notice the movement. You only notice that your chest feels tight and your mind feels full. This is why gentle attention is useful. Not harsh attention. Not the kind of attention that says, stop thinking. The mind rarely becomes quiet because it is ordered to be quiet. It becomes quieter when it feels less threatened. You can let the thought appear without treating it like an emergency. A memory may come. Let it come. A worry may rise. Let it rise. A sentence from the day may repeat. Let it repeat once, then do not build a house around it. The mind is allowed to have noise. You do not have to follow every sound. Think of your thoughts like cars passing outside at night. Some are loud. Some are close. Some have bright lights. But they are still passing. You do not have to walk outside and chase each one down the street. You can stay inside. You can remain where you are. The bed is not the place where the whole day must be judged. It is the place where your system begins to understand that today is over. This understanding may be slow. It may need repetition. It may need patience. But it can learn. The mind can learn that not every open loop is danger. It can learn that rest is not irresponsibility. It can learn that some answers become clearer after sleep, not before it. This is important because the tired mind is not always the wisest mind. At night, small problems can look larger. Neutral faces can seem cold. Delays can feel like rejection. A simple mistake can become evidence in a case against yourself. Mourning often changes the size of things. The same issue may still exist, but your body meets it differently. Your thoughts may have more space. Your words may be calmer. Your choices may be more practical. Sleep does not erase responsibility, but it can return you to yourself before you meet it. So tonight, when the mind begins to review, you can respond with quiet firmness. Not now. This can wait. I have noticed it. I will not solve this from exhaustion. These words are not magic. They are a boundary. A gentle boundary between thinking and rest. Between the day and the night. Between what happened and where you are now. The day had its time. It asked for your attention. It asked for your effort. It asked for your patience, your choices, your energy. You gave what you could from the state you were in. Now the night is asking for something different. It is asking you to stop turning the same page. It is asking you to let the unfinished part stay unfinished for a few hours. It is asking you to trust that you can return to life after rest, not through endless review. You do not have to understand everything tonight. You only have to let this moment become simple again. A room, a bed, a body, a day that is no longer happening. And slowly, the mind can begin to put down its papers. The need for control often grows strongest after a day when something felt uncertain. It may not look like panic. It may look like planning, analyzing, checking, replaying, or trying to predict every possible result. On the surface, it seems responsible. Underneath, the mind is trying to feel safe again. When a plan changes, the mind can feel exposed. You expected one path, and the day gave you another. You thought there would be enough time, and there was not. You thought someone would understand, and they did not. You thought your energy would last, and it faded. These moments remind the mind that life cannot be fully managed. That reminder can be uncomfortable. The mind often responds by reaching for control wherever it can find it. If it cannot change what happened, it tries to change the story. If it cannot control another person, it tries to control every word it said. If it cannot control tomorrow, it creates many versions of tomorrow and rehearses them all. This is exhausting because the mind is trying to do an impossible job. It is trying to remove uncertainty from life. But uncertainty is not a mistake in the system. It is part of being human. You can plan carefully and still face interruption. You can speak kindly and still be misunderstood. You can do your best and still feel disappointed by the result. This does not mean your effort is meaningless. It means effort and control are not the same thing. Effort is what you offer. Control is what you try to guarantee. Effort can be honest, useful, and grounded. Control becomes heavy when it demands that life respond exactly as you hoped. Many people confuse the two. They think, if I had tried harder, the day would have gone better. If I had been smarter, I would have avoided the problem. If I had said the perfect thing, the other person would have reacted differently. Sometimes that is true in small ways. We can learn. We can adjust. We can become more careful. But sometimes the result was shaped by more than you. It was shaped by another person's mood, another person's history, timing, pressure, fatigue, weather, traffic, money, systems, accidents, and all the invisible details that move through a day. The mind does not always accept this easily. It would rather blame you than accept uncertainty. Blame feels painful, but it also creates a false kind of control. If everything was your fault, then maybe everything can be prevented next time. The mind prefers a painful explanation over no explanation at all. But not every hard moment is a lesson about your failure. Some hard moments are simply hard moments. Some days are messy because life is messy. Some conversations are awkward because two tired people are trying to speak from different inner worlds. Some plans fall apart because reality has more moving parts than your calendar can show. When you understand this, the pressure begins to soften. You can still ask, what is mine to learn here? But you do not have to ask, how can I make sure nothing uncertain ever happens again? That second question has no peaceful answer. At night, the need for control may sound like careful thinking. It may say, let us just review this one more time. Let us imagine what they meant. Let us prepare for every possible problem tomorrow. Let us make sure we are not caught off guard again. But the deeper message is often simple. I felt unsafe today. I did not like not knowing. I did not like being unable to change the outcome. I want to feel steady again. When you hear the deeper message, you can respond more gently. Instead of arguing with every thought, you can speak to the part of you that wants safety. You can let that part know that control is not the only path to safety. Rest can also be safety. Slowness can also be safety. A boundary with your thoughts can also be safety. You can say to yourself, I cannot control what already happened, but I can control how I treat myself now. That is a smaller form of control, but it is real. You can control whether you continue punishing yourself. You can control whether you pick up your phone again to search for certainty. You can control whether you turn the whole night into a second workday. You can control whether you place one problem gently on tomorrow's table. Small control is often healthier than total control. Total control wants to manage the whole sky. Small control closes the window when the room is cold. Total control wants every person to understand you perfectly. Small control chooses one honest sentence when the time is right. Total control wants the future to be guaranteed. Small control prepares what is reasonable and then stops. This is how the mind begins to trust life again. Not because life becomes predictable, but because you become less violent with yourself when life is not predictable. You learn that a difficult day does not have to become a difficult night. You learn that uncertainty can exist without taking over your whole body. You learn that the mind can release its grip even when not every answer has arrived. This is a quiet kind of strength. It does not look impressive from the outside. No one may see it. But inside, it changes the atmosphere. Instead of chasing every loose end, you begin to return to the present. Instead of demanding perfect control, you practice honest limits. The day was larger than your hands. That does not mean you failed. It means you are human, living among other humans, inside a world that moves in many directions at once. Tonight, the goal is not to win against uncertainty. The goal is to stop letting uncertainty take your rest. You can let the unknown remain unknown for now. You can let the unanswered message remain unanswered for now. You can let the awkward moment remain a memory, not a command. You can let tomorrow arrive without rehearsing every version of it tonight. The need for control may still whisper. It may still ask for one more thought, but you can answer with less fear. I hear you. You are trying to protect me, but we are safe enough to rest now. And sometimes, safe enough is enough. After a day you could not control, the body often knows before the mind admits it. The mind may say, I am fine. It may say, it was not a big deal. It may say, I should be over this by now. But the body speaks in a different language. The shoulders may stay lifted. The jaw may stay tight. The stomach may feel closed, heavy, or unsettled. The hands may feel restless. The chest may feel a little guarded. The breath may become shallow, as if the body is still waiting for the next thing to go wrong. This is not weakness. This is physiology. When the day brings pressure, conflict, uncertainty, or too many demands, the nervous system prepares you to respond. It may increase alertness. It may tighten muscles. It may make the body more watchful. This can be useful during the day. It helps you answer, move, decide, protect, and handle what is in front of you. But at night, the same state can become uncomfortable. The body is still in response mode, even when there is no immediate problem in the room. The lights are off, but the system has not received the message that the demand is over. It continues holding tension, as if staying ready will prevent something from happening. This is why you can feel exhausted and wired at the same time. Exhausted because the day used your energy. Wired because the body has not shifted into rest. This state can feel confusing. You may think, I am tired, so why can I not sleep? But sleep is not only about tiredness. Sleep also requires a sense of safety. The nervous system needs to believe that it can lower its guard. When the mind keeps replaying the day, the body may treat those thoughts as signals that the situation is still active. A memory of stress can create a physical echo. The body does not always know that the event is only being remembered. It may respond as if it is happening again in a smaller form. The muscles tighten, the breath changes, the heart may feel more noticeable. So the goal at night is not to force the mind into silence. The goal is to help the body receive a different signal. A signal of quiet. A signal of enough. A signal that nothing needs to be handled in this exact moment. One way to begin is to stop treating tension as an enemy. If the shoulders are tight, they are not betraying you. They have been helping you carry the day. If the jaw is firm, it may have been holding back words, effort, or emotion. If the stomach is unsettled, it may be responding to uncertainty that felt difficult to digest. The body is not wrong. It is responding, and now it can slowly be guided into another state. You do not have to do this perfectly. You do not have to become completely calm all at once. The body often releases in small steps, not sudden changes. A little less tightness, a slightly longer exhale, a hand that becomes heavier, a forehead that softens without being forced. Sometimes rest begins with noticing contact, the back meeting the mattress, the legs supported by the bed, the pillow holding the head. These simple facts tell the body that it does not need to hold everything by itself. There is support underneath. There is a surface carrying some of the weight. The body can begin to let the room hold it. The breath may still be shallow. That is fine. You do not need to control it aggressively. You can simply notice one breath arriving and one breath leaving. You can let the breath be ordinary. There is no need to turn breathing into another performance. The body listens to repetition. Not one perfect thought, but repeated signals. The room is quiet. The bed is steady. The day is over. The problem is not in the room. The body can reduce its guard by one small degree. This is how the nervous system learns. It learns through experience, not argument. You can tell yourself to calm down many times, but the body may not believe words alone. It needs the experience of being here and not being attacked, being still and not being required, being tired and still being allowed to stop. After a hard day, the body may also carry emotional effort in hidden places. The face that had to look calm, the voice that had to stay polite, the posture that had to remain professional, the stomach that had to hold worry while you continued with your tasks. By bedtime, all of that effort may still be stored in the muscles. This is why rest can feel difficult even when the problem seems small. The body has been managing more than the mind counted. So tonight, release does not have to begin in thought. It can begin in the body. Let the tongue rest low in the mouth if it wants to. Let the shoulders notice that they do not have to protect the ears. Let the hands stop preparing to hold, fix, type, answer, or explain. Let the stomach be soft if it can, and if it cannot, let it be held without judgment. A tense body does not need criticism. It needs time. It needs steadiness. It needs a different environment from the one that created the tension. The bedroom can become that environment. Not perfect, not silent in every way, not magical. Just different enough. Fewer demands. Lower light. Less movement. A slower pace. The body may take a while to believe it. That is natural. If your system has been alert for many hours, it may not shift immediately. It may test the quiet. It may send another worry. It may tighten again. This does not mean rest is failing. It means the body is checking whether it is really safe to lower the guard. You can let it check. And you can keep returning to the same message. The day is not here now. The bed is here. The room is here. This breath is here. The body is allowed to stop preparing. This is not dramatic. It is simple. But simple things repeated at night can become powerful. The body begins to understand what the mind could not force. There is nothing to chase here. There is nothing to defend here. There is nothing to solve with tense shoulders at midnight. And as the body receives this, even a little, the mind may follow. Not because you defeated your thoughts, but because the system underneath them began to soften. Rest is not only a mental decision. It is a physical permission. Tonight, let that permission be small. Small is enough. One muscle softening is enough. One breath becoming easier is enough. One moment of not gripping the day is enough. The body does not need the whole future. It only needs this moment to be a little safer than the last. There was a woman named Mina who came home later than she expected. Nothing terrible had happened, but the day had been full of friction. A meeting started late. A message sounded colder than she expected. A small mistake at work took longer to fix than it should have. On the way home, traffic moved slowly under a gray evening sky. By the time she opened her front door, she felt older than she had felt that morning. She placed her bag near the chair instead of putting it away. Her shoes stayed beside the entrance, not lined up, just dropped there. She stood still for a moment with her keys in her hand, listening to the quiet apartment. The quiet did not feel peaceful yet. It felt like the first moment when the mind had enough space to bring everything back. She remembered the message. She remembered how she had answered too quickly. She remembered the meeting, the small silence after her suggestion, the way her face had stayed calm while her stomach tightened. She remembered that she had planned to cook something simple, but now even opening the refrigerator felt like another decision. So she did not begin by fixing the evening. She walked to the kitchen and filled a glass with water. The water was cold. The glass had a small mark near the rim. She noticed it without trying to think deeply about it. She drank slowly, standing near the counter, one hand resting on the edge. Her phone was on the table. It lit up once, then went dark again. For a second, she wanted to check it. Maybe there was another message. Maybe something needed her attention. Maybe someone had replied. But she knew that one small check could open the whole day again. So she left the phone where it was. Not with dramatic strength. Not with a big decision. She simply did not pick it up. She changed into soft clothes and moved around the apartment without trying to make the night perfect. She rinsed a bowl. She closed one cabinet door. She moved a stack of papers from the table to the side. The apartment did not become clean, but it became a little less demanding. Then she sat on the edge of the bed. The room was dim. Outside the window, a few cars passed on the wet street. Their tires made a soft sound against the road. Mina listened to that sound for a while. It was easier to listen to something outside her mind. The day came back again. This time, it came as a sentence. I should have handled it better. She did not answer immediately. She looked at her hands resting on her knees. They looked tired. They had carried bags, typed messages, opened doors, held a steering wheel, washed a cup. They had been useful all day. Maybe I handled it as well as I could with the energy I had, she thought. The thought was not bright or inspiring. It was plain, but it felt more honest than the punishment that came before it. She stood up and pulled the blanket back. Before lying down, she wrote one line on a small note beside the bed. Check the message tomorrow after breakfast. That was all. She did not write a long plan. She did not write every fear. She did not try to solve the relationship between her and the person who sent the message. She only gave the mind a place to put one unfinished thing. Tomorrow after breakfast. The words created a small boundary. When she lay down, the room felt different. Not completely calm, but less open. The problem had not disappeared. The day had not become perfect in her memory. But one piece of it had been moved out of the bed. Her mind still tried to return. It showed her the meeting again. It offered a better sentence she could have said. It replayed the silence. It suggested that maybe everyone had noticed her mistake more than they probably had. Mina turned onto her side and looked at the edge of the curtain. The curtain moved slightly because the heater had turned on. Warm air passed through the room in a low sound. She followed the movement with her eyes. The fabric lifted and settled, lifted and settled. The mind wanted a conclusion. The room offered a rhythm. For a while, she chose the rhythm. She did not feel peaceful in a complete way. That would have been too simple. But she felt the day begin to lose its grip. The details were still there, but they were farther from her body. The message was still waiting, but it was no longer glowing in her hand. The meeting was still remembered, but it was not happening now. She let the room be ordinary. A pillow under her head, a blanket over her shoulder, a note on the table, a phone left untouched. Outside, another car passed, then another. The city continued without asking her to manage it. This was the quiet lesson of the evening, though she did not call it a lesson. She was too tired for lessons. She only felt that some things could remain unresolved and still not be held every second. The next morning, there would be coffee. There would be the message. There would be choices to make. But those things belonged to the morning. The night had its own work. The work of lowering the body into stillness. The work of letting one room become enough. The work of not turning every memory into a task. Mina closed her eyes. The day tried once more to enter with its list of unfinished parts. She did not open the door wide. She let it stand outside for a moment, then fade into the background. Not gone forever, just not invited in right now. And slowly, without a perfect ending, she rested. Responsibility is important. It helps you repair what can be repaired. It helps you learn from your choices. It helps you return to people with honesty. But responsibility becomes painful when it turns into self-punishment. After a difficult day, the difference can become hard to see. You may think you are reflecting, but you are really attacking yourself. You may think you are being honest, but you are repeating the harshest version of the story. You may think you are learning, but your body feels smaller and more tense with every thought. Honest reflection has a different feeling. It may still be uncomfortable, but it has movement. It asks what happened. What part was mine? What can I do differently next time? Then it allows the answer to be simple. Self-punishment has no clear ending. It asks questions that are not really questions. Why am I like this? How could I be so careless? Why do I always make things harder? These questions do not lead to repair. They lead to shame. And shame is a poor teacher at night. It does not make the mind wiser. It makes the mind afraid. It does not make tomorrow cleaner. It makes sleep more difficult. It does not create responsibility. It creates a heavy inner atmosphere where every mistake feels like proof that something is wrong with you. But a mistake is not the same as a definition. A difficult reaction is not the same as your whole character. An unfinished task is not the same as a failed life. One awkward moment is not the final truth about how people see you. The mind often connects things too quickly when it is tired. It takes one event and builds a larger story around it. You missed a deadline, and suddenly you are irresponsible. You answered impatiently, and suddenly you are a bad person. You forgot something, and suddenly you cannot trust yourself. These stories feel convincing when the body is exhausted, but they are not always accurate. A more honest way to reflect is smaller and clearer. I was tired, and I spoke too quickly. I forgot that task, and I need a better reminder. I avoided a conversation, and I can return to it tomorrow. I felt overwhelmed, and I tried to control too much. These sentences are not soft excuses. They are usable truths. A usable truth gives you something to work with. It does not crush you. It does not let you escape responsibility, but it also does not make you carry more than what is yours. This matters deeply at night because the mind may try to balance the day before sleeping. It wants to settle the account. It wants to decide whether you did enough, whether you were good enough, whether you are safe from future regret. But you do not need a final judgment tonight. You need a fair one. Fairness means you include the full context, your energy level, the pressure you were under, the information you had at the time, the other people involved, the limits of the day, the fact that you are not a machine that can respond perfectly to every demand. When you remove context, every mistake looks simple. When you include context, the picture becomes more human. Maybe you could have done something differently. That may be true. But it may also be true that you were carrying several things at once. It may be true that you did not have enough time to think. It may be true that your nervous system was already overloaded before the moment happened. This does not erase responsibility. It places responsibility inside reality. A person can learn better from reality than from cruelty. So tonight, when a regret appears, you can practice a different kind of honesty. Not the honesty that cuts. The honesty that sees clearly. Yes, that moment was not ideal. Yes, I may need to repair something. Yes, I can learn from it. And no, I do not need to punish myself all night to prove that I care. This last sentence is important. Many people secretly believe that if they stop punishing themselves, it means they do not care enough. They think guilt is the price of being responsible. They think staying awake with regret shows moral seriousness. But care does not require damage. You can care deeply and still sleep. You can apologize tomorrow and still rest tonight. You can learn from a mistake without turning the night into a place of self-accusation. In fact, rest may help you repair more wisely. A rested person can speak more clearly. A rested person can listen with more patience. A rested person can see the situation without making it larger than it is. Exhaustion often makes repair more emotional, more defensive, and less precise. So letting yourself rest is not avoiding responsibility. It may be preparing for it. Imagine placing the regret on a small table outside the bedroom door. You are not throwing it away. You are not pretending it never happened. You are simply choosing where it belongs tonight. It does not belong under your pillow. It does not belong inside your chest while you are trying to sleep. It does not belong in every breath until morning. It can wait in a clear place. If it matters, you will return to it with more steadiness. If it does not matter as much as it feels tonight, morning will help you see that. Either way, the night does not need to be sacrificed. Responsibility has a clean shape when it is healthy. It says, I will look honestly. I will repair what I can. I will learn what is useful. Then I will stop harming myself with what cannot be changed. That final part is not weakness. It is discipline. It is the discipline of not feeding the part of the mind that believes pain is the same as growth. Growth is often quieter than pain. It may look like writing one note, sending one message tomorrow, choosing one better system, resting before responding, admitting one truth without creating a whole identity from it. Tonight, you are allowed to be responsible in a calm way. You are allowed to say, I see what happened, but I will not become cruel toward myself. You are allowed to say, I may need to do something tomorrow, but I do not need to do it from a tired mind tonight. You are allowed to say, this day showed me something, but it does not own me. Let the lesson be simple. Let the punishment end. The day can teach you without following you into sleep. Some things did not change today, no matter how much you wish they would. A person did not understand. A task did not finish. A result did not arrive. A problem stayed exactly where it was, even after you spent your energy trying to move it. This can create a particular kind of tiredness. It is the tiredness of effort without resolution. When effort leads to a clear result, even a hard day can feel complete. But when you try, care, adjust, explain, wait, and still nothing changes, the mind struggles to close the day. It keeps searching for one more action, one more idea, one more sentence that might finally make the situation move. But some problems do not move at night. Some people will not answer before morning. Some decisions need more time. Some emotions need space. Some systems are slow. Some consequences are still unfolding. Some things are not ready to become clear just because you are ready for clarity. This is difficult to accept. Acceptance can sound like a passive word, but in real life it is often very active. It asks the mind to stop pushing against a locked door. It asks the body to stop spending energy on a moment that has already ended. It asks the heart to admit, this is where things are right now. Not forever. Right now. There is relief inside that difference. When you say, this is forever, the mind becomes afraid. But when you say, this is where things are right now, there is a little more room. The situation may still be hard. It may still matter. But it no longer has to be solved before your body is allowed to rest. Many things in life change slowly. Trust changes slowly. Health changes slowly. Work changes slowly. Family patterns change slowly. Financial pressure changes slowly. Confidence changes slowly. Even emotional release can change slowly. The mind often wants a faster ending. It wants a clean conclusion before sleep. It wants the message, the answer, the apology, the plan, the certainty. It wants the feeling of all doors being closed. But life often leaves doors half open. So the question becomes, can you sleep while some doors are still half open? Not carelessly, not pretending nothing matters, but with enough trust to stop standing in every doorway all night. You may have one problem that cannot be solved tonight. You know the one. It may be practical, emotional, relational, financial, or personal. It may not be huge, but it keeps pulling your attention back. It says, look at me. Think about me. Solve me. Do not rest until I feel different. But perhaps the most honest answer tonight is simple. I cannot change this right now. That sentence may feel uncomfortable at first. The mind may resist it because it sounds like defeat. But it is not defeat when it is true. It is contact with reality. And contact with reality is less tiring than fighting reality in the dark. You can add another sentence after it. I cannot change this right now, but I can stop giving it my whole night. This is a boundary. A boundary does not deny that the problem exists. It only says the problem does not get unlimited access to your mind and body. It does not get to take every hour, every breath, every quiet moment. It has a place, but it does not own the entire room. Imagine holding a stone in your hand for the whole day. At first, it may not feel heavy, but after hours, the hand becomes tired. The fingers ache. The arm tightens. The weight has not changed, but the holding has created pain. Some problems are like that. The problem is real, but the constant holding makes it heavier. Putting the stone down for the night does not mean it disappears. It means your hand gets to rest. Tomorrow, if you need to pick it up again, you can. But you do not have to sleep with your fingers closed around it. Tonight, you can practice placing down what did not change. The conversation that still feels unfinished. The work that still needs attention. The uncertainty that still has no answer. The expectation that was not met. The part of the day that still feels unfair. You place it down not because it is unimportant, but because your body is also important. Your sleep is important. Your nervous system is important. Your ability to meet tomorrow without being completely drained is important. There is a quiet respect in letting yourself rest before everything is fixed. It says, I am not only a problem solver. I am a human being with limits. I can care about my life without turning every night into a place of pressure. This respect may feel unfamiliar if you are used to earning rest only after completion. But many days do not complete themselves neatly. If rest is only allowed after everything is finished, rest will always be delayed. There will always be another message, another task, another worry, another question. Life will keep offering open loops. So rest must become something you practice inside incompletion. This is not easy, but it is possible. You begin by accepting the shape of tonight. This is what is solved. This is what is not solved. This is what I can do tomorrow. This is what belongs to someone else. This is what time must carry. This is what I cannot force. Then you let the body feel the difference between caring and gripping. Caring is warm. Gripping is tight. Caring can wait. Gripping demands now. Caring makes space for wisdom. Gripping makes space for exhaustion. Tonight, choose caring without gripping. Let the unfinished thing remain unfinished for a few hours. Let the answer arrive later if it is going to arrive. Let the repair happen when the day returns. Let sleep be part of how you continue, not something you receive only after everything is done. The day did not give you full control. It may not have given you closure, but the night can still give you a place to loosen your hand. To prepare the mind for sleep, the goal is not to erase every thought. Thoughts may continue for a while. The goal is to make the inner world less demanding, less bright, less sharp. Sleep comes more easily when the mind feels it no longer needs to stand guard. A tired mind often needs simple signals. Not complicated ideas. Not long explanations. Simple signals repeated gently. The room is quiet enough. The body is supported. The day is no longer here. Nothing needs to be solved in this exact moment. These signals matter because the mind may still be scanning. It may scan the past for mistakes. It may scan tomorrow for problems. It may scan relationships for signs of rejection. It may scan your own behavior for proof that you should have done better. Scanning is a protective habit. But protection can become exhausting when there is no present danger. So tonight, you can help the mind shift from scanning to settling. Begin with the room. The room does not need to be perfect. It may have clothes on a chair, a cup on the table, a small sound from outside, a line of light near the door. Let it be an ordinary room. Ordinary is good. Ordinary tells the body that this moment does not need a performance. Notice one stable thing. Maybe the wall. Maybe the blanket. Maybe the weight of your body. Maybe the quiet space between sounds. Let attention rest there for a few seconds. When the mind moves away, that is fine. You bring it back without frustration. You are not trying to win. You are practicing return. Return is more useful than force. The mind wanders. You return. The memory appears. You return. The worry speaks. You return. The body tightens. You return. Each return is a small message to the nervous system. We are not going into the whole story right now. We are staying here. Here is simpler than the day. Here has fewer people. Here has fewer decisions. Here has no need to explain yourself. As you settle, you may notice the mind asking for one last check. One last look at the phone. One last review of tomorrow. One last replay of the conversation. It may present these checks as necessary. But not every check creates safety. Some checks reopen the door. Tonight, safety may come from not checking, from allowing one unanswered thing to remain unanswered, from trusting that the morning will still exist, from letting your mind discover that nothing terrible happens when you stop rehearsing for a while. You can make a quiet promise to yourself. I will return to what needs attention when I have more light and more strength. This promise helps because the mind often fears forgetting. It thinks, if I stop thinking about this, I will lose control. But you do not need to keep a problem active all night in order to remember it. You can write one note if needed. You can set one reminder. Then you can let the mind step away. A note is enough. A reminder is enough. A clear intention is enough. After that, repeated thinking may not be care. It may be tension wearing the mask of care. Let the body become heavier now. Not forced, just allowed. The forehead does not have to hold an expression. The eyes do not have to search behind closed lids. The mouth does not have to prepare an answer. The shoulders do not have to stay ready for another demand. The hands do not have to hold the day. If thoughts continue, let them become less central. They can move in the background like distant sounds. You do not need to follow them into detail. A thought may begin, and you can let it remain unfinished. This is an important sleep skill, letting a thought remain unfinished. During the day, finishing thoughts can be useful. At night, finishing every thought can keep the mind awake. Sleep often begins when thoughts become incomplete, soft, and less organized. The mind stops building full sentences. Images become loose. The day loses its structure. You can allow that. You do not need to keep your thinking neat right now. You do not need to explain the day in a complete way. You do not need to prepare a perfect version of yourself for tomorrow. Let the edges blur a little. Let the mind become less like a desk and more like a quiet field after sunset. There may still be shapes, but they do not need your full attention. There may still be movement, but it is farther away. There may still be sound, but it does not require a response. The body is here. The bed is here. The night is here. This is enough structure for now. If a regret appears again, answer it simply. Not tonight. If a worry appears again, answer it simply. Tomorrow. If the need for control appears again, answer it simply. We are resting now. Simple answers are best at night. The tired mind does not need a debate. It needs a calm boundary repeated without anger. You may feel the day loosen slowly. Not vanish, but loosen. The mind may still hold a few threads, but the grip becomes weaker. The body begins to understand that it does not have to stay alert to prove that the day mattered. The day mattered. You cared. You tried. You responded as best you could with what you had. And now the system can move towards sleep. Let tomorrow stay outside the door for now. Let yesterday remain behind you. Let this moment be plain and quiet. Nothing more is required from you in this room. You do not have to earn the night. You only have to enter it. And you enter it by releasing one demand, then another, until the mind no longer needs to hold its shape so tightly. The day is becoming distant now, like a light in another room, still present, but no longer shining directly into your eyes. You know it is there. You know it happened, but you do not have to stand under it anymore. You can let that light stay behind the door. There may be things waiting for tomorrow. A conversation, a task, a decision, a repair, a small problem that still needs care. Let them wait. Waiting is not always danger. Sometimes waiting is how life gives the body a chance to return to itself. Tonight, you are not abandoning your life. You are stepping back from the noise so you can meet it with a clearer mind later. The day had many pieces. Some were ordinary. Some were heavy. Some were disappointing. Some were outside your control. You may have tried to hold them all, but now you can let them separate. You do not need to carry the entire day as one solid weight. A moment is only a moment. A mistake is only a mistake. A delay is only a delay. A feeling is only a feeling moving through the body. When they are all tied together, they feel like too much. When they are allowed to loosen, the mind can breathe again. Let one piece fall away, the sentence you wish you had said. Let another piece fall away, the plan that changed without your permission. Let another piece fall away, the look, the tone, the silence, the small disappointment, the thing you keep trying to understand. They can fall softly. They do not have to crash. They do not have to disappear forever. They only need to move out of your hands for the night. Your hands can rest. Your face can rest. Your chest can stop guarding the whole future. The bed is not asking for a better version of you. The room is not asking for an explanation. The night is not asking you to prove that you deserve rest. Rest is part of being alive. Even on unfinished days. Especially on unfinished days. There is a simple truth here. You cannot control every part of the day, but you can choose not to carry every part of it into sleep. This choice may be small. It may last only a few seconds at first. But small choices repeated gently can change the way the night feels. So let the final action be simple. Picture the day as a coat you have been wearing too long. It protected you while you moved through the weather of the hours. It held the dust, the cold, the pressure, the noise. But now you are inside. The door is closed. You can take the coat off. Place it on a chair. You do not have to throw it away. You do not have to inspect every mark on it. You do not have to sleep with it wrapped around your shoulders. Just place it down. Tomorrow, if you need it, it will still be there. But tonight, your body does not need its weight. The room grows quieter when you stop wearing the day. The pillow becomes softer when you stop bringing every problem to it. The dark becomes kinder when you stop asking it for answers. Let the night be a place without performance. No fixing, no proving, no rehearsing, only returning. Returning to the body, returning to the room, returning to the simple fact that this moment is not the same as the day that passed. You are here now. The day is over now. The next step can wait now. Let the mind hear that again in its simplest form. The next step can wait. And if one last thought rises, let it rise like a small wave and fall back into the dark. You do not have to follow it. You do not have to finish it. You do not have to turn it into a plan. The day can end without your full understanding. The body can rest without perfect closure. Tomorrow can come without being rehearsed tonight. This is the quiet release. Not a dramatic change. Not a perfect peace. Just a soft unclenching. A hand opening. A coat placed on a chair. A light turned off in another room. Leave the day there. Let the night hold what remains. And let yourself sleep without carrying what was never fully yours to control.